Suspected attacker of 3 customs officers during a drug raid has been arrested after a 6-day manhunt. The High Court grants 93-year-old plastic surgeon with dementia full discharge in the 2018 botox death case. And in Japan, the government pledges extra budget to address bear attacks. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. Police have arrested the main suspect wanted for last Thursday's stabbing of 3 customs officers during a drug raid. 3 men and 1 woman have also been detained for their alleged involvement in the case. Jeremy Zhu reports.
The suspects were brought to police headquarters with their heads covered, following the recovery of suspected weapons, including a crossbow, 5 replica firearms, and a long knife. The incident occurred during a drug raid at a flat in Tokwawan's Honor Building last Thursday. After slashing 3 customs officers, the attacker escaped through the kitchen window. Authorities seized approximately $1.8 million worth of drugs at the scene. Speaking to the press, Gar Kam Lam, superintendent of crime with Kowloon West Regional Headquarters, said the suspect fled the area by taxi toward Taipo. Over subsequent days, he was spotted switching to a private car and hiding in various locations, including Sai Kung, Hongshui Q, and Yunlong. The primary suspect was arrested in Yunlong this morning, facing charges including wounding, trafficking dangerous drugs, and possessing firearms and offensive weapons. 3 additional men, aged 27 to 41, have been arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender, while a family member of the suspect was detained for misleading police. All arrested individuals are believed to belong to the same organized crime group and have triad backgrounds. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
A 93-year-old plastic surgeon with dementia who was found guilty of manslaughter in the city's first botox fatality has been granted an absolute discharge after the High Court ruled that no other sentencing option is suitable in light of his age and poor health. Basilone reports.
Franklin Lee was convicted of killing a client through gross negligence during a botox injection procedure in 2018. A High Court jury ruled Lee guilty of manslaughter in October, but found he could not be held criminally liable as he was unfit to stand trial. Judge Anthony Kwok ordered an absolute discharge of Lee today, as he explained that under the Criminal Procedure Ordinance, the only sentencing options were a hospital order, guardianship order, or unconditional release. A hospital order was dismissed since Lee's condition is neither treatable nor rehabilitative. A guardianship order was also deemed unnecessary, as he is already cared for by his family that is financially stable. Yet Kwok condemned Lee as notorious and deserving strong condemnation after the court heard Lee had caused another patient's death in 2003, yet went on to repeat the error with fatal consequences. Stressing that the court must seek justice for the victim's family, Kwok ordered Lee's defense lawyer to apologize on his behalf. Basilone, Cable News.
Food delivery platform Kita has agreed to revise parts of its agreements with partner restaurants, following concerns raised by the Competition Commission that certain terms could stifle market competition. The Commission had expressed concern over Kita's practice of charging lower commission to restaurants working exclusively with them, while restricting or penalizing those who also partner with other platforms. The subsidiary of mainland's tech giant Meituan also prevented restaurants from offering lower prices elsewhere. In response, Kita will amend or remove the relevant clauses and formally commit to the Commission to uphold these changes. The move is welcomed as a step forward, sharper competition, giving consumers more choice and potentially better service and lower prices. Leading flu experts from the University of Cambridge has raised alarm after identifying 7 mutations in a strain of H3N2 seasonal flu, triggering an earlier than usual flu season worldwide. Local specialists warn that the traditional concept of fixed flu season is outdated, with outbreaks now possible at any time of the year. Cheryl Yun reports.
According to the Center for Health Protection, influenza A H3 remains the dominant circulating strain, making up nearly 90% of all virus detections in Hong Kong. Infectious disease experts said mutations in the H3 virus have triggered an earlier than usual flu peak, not just in Hong Kong but around the world, cautioning that rigid notions of a winter-only flu season no longer hold. A flu outbreak can happen any time, regardless of winter or summer. It's not like it used to be, said Ivan Hong, Chair Professor of Infectious Diseases at the University of Hong Kong. Hong stressed that while the mutations do not cause more severe symptoms, they do increase transmissibility, enhance immune escape, and show slight mismatch with current vaccines. Despite the mismatch, vaccination remains the most effective defense. He urged Hong Kongers to get their flu shots early and to wear masks when traveling to high-risk destinations such as Japan. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Amid rising bear threats in multiple populated areas, the Japanese government has pledged to draft a package of new measures to protect the public from being attacked. Jeremy Zhu has more.
Earlier this afternoon, a bear on the tarmac at Iwate Prefecture's Hanamaki Airport forced the runway to close for over an hour. It came just hours after a secondary school in the same prefecture suspended classes following a bear sighting nearby. Meanwhile, in Sapporo, Hokkaido, fresh bear tracks were discovered in a snow-covered park, while zoo surveillance cameras also captured one of the animals roaming nearby. Bear attacks are becoming increasingly common. Since April, at least 220 people have been injured or killed in encounters, with 13 fatalities confirmed by officials. In response, the government plans to recruit former police and self-defense personnel with firearms experience to help with bear removal, while experts will train police in rifle use. Additional steps include setting up traps and electric fences. At a Parliament's Budget Committee's question and answer session this morning, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi has pledged extra budget support to local governments, including covering bear removal costs. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
A British court has sentenced a Chinese woman who fled to the country after defrauding nearly 130,000 investors in the mainland and laundering the proceeds into Bitcoin to 11 years and 8 months in prison. Beslan reports.
Chen Zhimin, dubbed the Crypto Queen by British media, was sentenced at a London court yesterday after pleading guilty to charges of possessing and transacting in criminal property in August. Her assistant, Sang Hock Ling, a Malaysian man, was also jailed for 4 years and 11 months for his role in dealing with criminal proceeds. Chen orchestrated a massive Ponzi fraud in China between 2014 and 2017, promising high returns from fake high-tech health products and cryptocurrency mining, but instead funneling the victims' savings, many from elderly pensioners, into Bitcoin. She fled to the UK in 2017 using forged documents and lived a life of luxury, renting expensive mansions and even plotting to become the monarch of a self-proclaimed nation, Liberland, until she was arrested last year, prosecutors said. Judge Sally Ann Hale said when handing down the sentence that her motive was one of pure greed. Authorities also pledged strict enforcement.
But I think it also sends a really clear message that London and the UK is no safe harbour for ill-gotten gains and for money launderers, and that we will relentlessly pursue with our national and international partners to identify, seize those assets and bring offenders and perpetrators to justice.
A UK government agency is now considering returning the Bitcoin to the duped investors and said they will likely consult with mainland authorities. Beslan, Cable News.
The U.S. military buildup in Caribbean waters has sparked global alarm after American airstrikes on boats killed at least 76 people so far. Venezuela has vowed to defend its airspace against any aggression as tensions with Washington escalate. Cheryl Yun reports.
The U.S. Navy has deployed the USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, to waters encompassing Latin America and the Caribbean. The Pentagon described the move as an effort to disrupt narcotics trafficking and degrade and dismantle transnational criminal organizations. U.S. President Donald Trump justified the aggression as part of a broader war on drugs. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro accused the U.S. of fabricating a crisis and seeking to overthrow the country's left-wing socialist government. Washington has dismissed Maduro's last two re-elections as fraudulent. In response, Caracas announced a nationwide military mobilization to counter the U.S. naval presence and what it called imperial threats. The deployment includes roughly 200,000 personnel from land, sea, air, river and missile forces, along with civilian militias. This marks the most significant escalation in the U.S.-Venezuela military tensions in decades and the largest American presence in the region since the 1989 invasion of Panama, prompting swift reactions from international actors. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot expressed concern over U.S. actions, citing a violation of international law. Colombian President Gustavo Petro ordered his country's security forces on Tuesday to halt intelligence sharing with the United States. The United Kingdom has similarly suspended sharing data on suspected drug smuggling vessels in the Caribbean. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has blamed India for the suicide blast yesterday that has killed 12 people in the capital, Islamabad, which India has dismissed as baseless. Jeremy Zhu reports.
The attack occurred around midday on Tuesday when a suicide bomber detonated the explosives near a police vehicle outside the Islamabad district courts, marking the first attack in the capital in nearly 3 years. Preliminary investigation suggests the assailant originally planned to enter the main building but was unable to bypass security checks. With the explosion happening during a court recess, as many people were leaving the complex, the number of casualties was significantly increased. The militant group Pakistani Taliban, an ally of Afghan Taliban, has claimed responsibility for the attack, threatening further attacks unless Islamic Sharia law is implemented in Pakistani courts. Defense Minister Khawaja Asif stated the nation is in a state of war that is no longer confined to the Afghan border, adding that successful negotiations with the Taliban regime are unlikely. Prime Minister Sharif expressed condolences to victims' families, while maintaining the assault was planned by Indian-backed proxies, calling it despicable and cowardly cross-border terrorism. Meanwhile, New Delhi has firmly rejected Pakistan's accusations, calling them desperate diversionary ploys. Jeremy Chu, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index closed 226 points higher. Top active stocks of the day. Alibaba was down $3.60. Tencent was up $7. XPeng was down $3.30, and PopMart was down $3.20. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar, euro 8.99, Japanese yen 50.21. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy, slightly cooler tomorrow morning with a minimum temperature of about 20 degrees. Dry with sunny periods during the day, the maximum temperature will be around 24 degrees. And that's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.